Welcome in everyone to Cash That Ticket Podcast here on the Straight Out of Vegas AM feed. Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Here to get into some more baseball action to start off the month of August, of course, for our podcast, and then getting to our next NFL win total, which will be the Houston Texans here today. So definitely looking forward to that, of course. Get you guys a coupon code for pregame.com, and we'll wrap it up with best bets for this episode. Of course, I am your host, Munaf Manji. Coming off of a 1-1 best bet podcast from Friday, and we'll look to turn it around here in the month of August. But joining me, as always, to help me break everything down happening in the sporting world, I got Uncle Diamond Dave Essler here with me. Uncle Dave, how's it going this morning, sir?
Yeah, going great. Looking forward to starting another month and hopefully finishing another green month, buddy.
Yeah, inching ever so closer to football season. I say that almost every podcast, but I know everybody's looking forward to it, and we are as well. Got the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, so that'll be exciting. Whether it's going to be a great product or not, I think everybody itches for that Hall of Fame game when it's the middle of June and end of June into July there. So I know, like I mentioned last week, Uncle Dave, that all teams have reported to training camp, of course, and we're seeing all the news and reports and which players and all that look great for their respective teams there. So um, let's start in baseball. Of course, if you guys were sleeping under a rock or way out of the country or didn't have internet, but as Uncle Dave mentioned offline, the rich to get richer. Tarik Skubal headed to the LA Dodgers for a couple prospects there. World Series odds, I think, moved from like 175 down to 150 or something in that range for the LA Dodgers to win the World Series title this year. The updated number right now, odds courtesy of DraftKings, yeah, plus 150 right now for the Dodgers. They did play last night, Sunday Night Baseball. Of course, getting swept by Uncle Dave's Boston Red Sox there. So we'll talk about the Dodgers here in a minute. We'll get Uncle Dave's thoughts on Tarik Skubal as well for the Dodgers. But let's start here on the Monday card. We will get to um, Nationals and the Phillies, 6:40 Eastern. First pitch, Trevor Williams looks like will be the starter for the Nationals. Will be Aaron Nola day for the Phillies. Phillies, who just traded for Luis Arraez, will come in and play second base now for this Phillies team. They trade away a couple prospects. Nobody that's really going to be in that everyday lineup was part of the trade for the Phillies. Phillies right now minus 175 on the money line, plus 144 for the Nationals. Uncle Dave told this one is sitting at 9 with some juice on the over. But what are your thoughts on Nationals Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised with Nola pitching. I mean, I know Trevor Williams, he's had his good years and bad years. I mean, 2024, he had an ERA of just over two. Last year it was just over six, so go figure. But he's been around a while, and I think maybe the big thing against him here is the Phillies have seen a ton of him, but for me wonders how Aaron Nola can be minus 170 ish. I mean, let's face it, he's having his he's not quite his worst year. Last year his ERA was six. This year it's 5.6, but his WHIP is 1.45, which is far and above the highest he's ever had. So he come back from the All Star break, got crushed by the Dodgers. Then he shut down Miami, but it was Miami, and he did. Washington has seen him at least once this year. I'm inclined to like the over. Nine is a good number. It's 9.5 somewhere. It's gone to 9.5, come back down to nine. So I don't love it. So I'm thinking maybe a team total. You know, the Washington being the underdog, and we know they can hit, and we get all of our at bats. I would be inclined to take the Nationals team total over. I think. I mean, I don't see them having a number at DraftKings. I do see some road books sitting at 3.5 over, juiced 145. I would love that. Just because there's Nola in the Phillies bullpen, right?
Yeah.
So that would be, 1A would be the Nationals team total. 1B would be probably, I would strongly consider the Nationals on the run line there, I think.
Yeah, 3.5 minus 145 right now, currently over on DraftKings. Nationals did end up trading also Luis Garcia Jr., infielder, over to the New York Yankees. There was a fan of him, especially all the tickets that he was cashing for me when I was betting on the Nationals, either team total overs or full game overs. But Aaron Nola probably coming off of his best start of the season against Miami. In Miami, there 5 2/3, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. He'd have 3 walks in that game. But of course, prior to that, he's just really been in fade mode. Of course, since we've talked about him a lot this season, it's been a lot worse for Aaron Nola at home, right? 0-4 with a 6.70 ERA. I'm just trying to see what the over-unders have been in Aaron Nola's home starts this season. This will be Trevor Williams' third appearance this season. He's been coming out of the bullpen for the Nationals um, over his last 2 outings, which I believe he is, of course, coming off of the injured list. But you win an inning in the third against the Blue Jays, 1 strikeout, and then against the Braves back on Friday, 2 2/3, 0 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and a walk in that one. Aaron Nola at home this season, 3-7 straight up are the Phillies in those spots. 2-8 on the run line of the Phillies in those spots. And the over is a profitable 7-2-1 in those games there. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here, Uncle Dave. I'm going to go, Nationals Phillies over 9 in this one. We'll go over to a 7:05 Eastern start time. The Cardinals and the Yankees here tonight in Yankee Stadium. Michael McGreevy getting the start for the Cards. It'll be Cam Schlittler Day for the Yankees. Yankees are an overwhelming -217 home favorite, +177 on the money line for the Cardinals. Told this one, Uncle Dave sitting at 8 with some juice on the under in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like McGreevy, if I'm being honest. I don't know that I can lay -200, but Schlittler's probably the right side. He's been able to bounce back. I wonder if this game was played before the All-Star break, what this line would be, because in July before the All-Star break, McGreevy gave up 5 runs in 18 innings in 3 different starts, and since the All-Star break, well, obviously he got hit by Arizona, and then he didn't even make it out of the second inning against the Cubs. Both of those games were at home. Um, he has been better on the road, no doubt about it. But it's the Yankees, right? Maybe they got some infusion of energy getting over Garcia. I don't know. I'm just not laying -200 with anybody, but probably stick him in a parlay. Maybe I look at the Cardinals team total under, simply because I'm kind of following the market here. You got 3/4 of the tickets on the under, open to 8. It's actually down to 7.5 at Hard Rock, BetMGM, Kalshi, obviously, if you have that exchange. But I think based on that, maybe they're expecting McGreevy to kind of revert back a little bit. I don't know. It's a tough one. But I think I would look at the Cardinals team total under there.
Yeah, and interesting enough, Schlittler, excuse me, had 5 starts in July. 4 of those 5 starts were actually on the road, where we talked about in his last start. He's been absolutely fantastic on the road. This will be his first home starts at Yankee Stadium since July 19th, where he faced the Dodgers. 4 1/3, 6 hit, 3 earned runs he gave up in that spot. The struggles for him have definitely come on the road. He had one great start against the Reds, 6 shutout innings at Yankee Stadium. But part of that was getting into a little bit of trouble at home. And again, you take a look at his home and road splits, Uncle Dave. ERA of 1.10 on the road this year, 8-2, 2-4 at home with a 3.83 ERA. And McGreevy coming off definitely his worst start of the season against the Cubs last week, 1 2/3 inning, 7 earned runs in those spots. Taking a look at his home and road splits, he's actually been pretty even, I guess we can say, in home and road. It just hasn't translated to wins for him, whether it's been because of lack of run support, over the case might be. But I think Schlittler continues to roll here in this one. I think that the runs will be at a premium, maybe like a 4-2 final here. If you want to go first 5 innings under, I couldn't talk you off of that, but I think that would be the look here for me. First 5 innings under, or even full game under in this one. Let's get over to the Pirates and the Brewers here tonight. It'll be Bubba Chandler for the Pirates. It'll be Brandon Sprout for the Brewers. Brewers are a -149 home favorite, +123 on the money line for the Pirates here. Uh, Total is sitting at 8 with some juice on the over in this one, Uncle Dave. Any thoughts on Pirates Brewers?
Yeah, I kind of like the over a little bit. I mean, if you're going to bet against the Brewers, Sprout's probably your best option.
Mhm.
Um, should he be minus a buck and a half? I don't know. I mean, he gives up a few most every time, right? Um, he can also be a fly ball pitcher, which is a problem. He also just faced the Pirates 3 weeks ago and gave up two hits in 3 innings. But his problem is walks, right? Three, four, two, three. Uh, he's just doesn't have the control. And I like Chandler. So, do I love Chandler? No, he was crushed by Arizona last time out. But he said, he goes to the Yankees and two hits them through 6 innings. So he 100% has an upside. He does keep the ball in the park. I'm not so sure I agree with the over. Um, and I'm not so sure I want to fade the Brewers bullpen. So, I could perhaps be inclined to take the Pirates team total over. It's probably got to be a 3.5. Let me look here real quick. Unless you get there before me. Yeah, 3.5. 3.5 over minus 120. I'll take the Pirates team total over. I mean, they just saw him.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't think that is a gimme. I don't think it's a layup with the Brewers minus a buck and a half. So I would take the Pirates team total over.
Yeah. Chandler's he's really been up and down this season, right? Especially you take a look at his whip at 1.41. That's the one area that gives me concern. He did have a start back on July 11th against the Brewers, 4 and 2/3, 2 earned runs. Did have 6 strikeouts in that game, but also issued 3 walks in that one. I also think he had faced them earlier this season as well. See if I can find that, or believe it was last season. But um, nonetheless, yeah, this eight does seem a little bit conservative for the between these two games. And then you take a look at Brandon Sprout's numbers this season, 5.05 ERA, a whip of 1.39. And again, another pitcher that has huge issues with walks. The Brewers have lost 3 straight starts that he has made for this team, which again, also, like you mentioned, came against his Pirates team, which was a 7-6 final, 4-0 loss against the Mets, and then 3-0 against the Giants there. So the run support definitely has not been there in Brandon Sprout starts this season. So I like your call on the Pirates over. I was still looking at full game over as well. I don't trust the Pirates bullpen either. I know they've given it up over the course of the last month there. So that'll be the look in this game here for me. Over and I will look at the Pirate side of things as well. 8:05 Eastern start time. Let's go to Wrigley Field. Dodgers are in town to take on the Cubs. Justin Robleski for the Dodgers. It'll be Matthew Boyd for the Cubbies. Cubbies, of course, are a home underdog in this one, plus 104, minus 126 on the money line for the Dodgers. Total this one is also sitting at 8, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, okay. Well, we aren't handicapping Tarik Skubal yet.
Tomorrow, I think we get
I
them.
mean, oh, joy. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm gonna wait till all this trade dust settles. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough not to look at Boyd here. I mean, what has the guy done? Shut out St. Louis. Gave up one run to the Pirates. Gave up one run to the Twins. Gave up no runs to Baltimore. Now he did give up four to the Reds, but there's the same division. Uh, so I almost can put a little asterisk next to that. I like Robleski. Do not hear what I am not saying. But the Dodgers just were swept by the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So I mean that can't be a good thing to leave town with. So I guess I say that to say I don't love the Cubs bullpen. Don't love the Dodgers bullpen. I'll take the Cubs at plus money. The market is somewhat agreeing with me. I mean, three-quarters of the tickets, three-quarters of the money on the Dodgers, as you'd expect. Open minus 132. It's down to 120 in a few places. I mean, that's not a huge move, but there are people that agree with me there. 8.5 was the opening total. Um, Down to 8 most places. There are some rogue 8.5s. I would look at the 8.5 under, and I might look at the first 5 under there as well. But if I have to make one bet in that game, I'll take the Cubs.
Yeah, the Sunday night fade as well, right? This season,
Right.
I tracked it down. So teams that played on Sunday Night Baseball and their next game is on the road. They're 6-11 straight up this season, 6-11 on the run line, 13-4 towards the over. If you want to give a bigger sample size, if we want to go to the back to the 2024 season, 32-42 straight up. So if you just again faded teams that are playing on Sunday Night Baseball, their next game is on the road on Monday, 32-42 straight up. So again, take that for what it's worth. Also, the over is a very profitable angle, 41, 30, and 3 over the course of that time there. So I don't know if like I don't want to say the Dodgers are just bored or they're just not playing good baseball right now. Um, Again, Robleski has been one of their best pitchers, not I mean from a statistical standpoint. Um, we talked about Boyd last week as well. I just think there's a spot here for the Cubs to take advantage of again the Dodgers coming off of that Sunday night baseball game there. And again, he's been in really good form as well, has Matthew Boyd. Last three starts, he's gone 20 innings. He's only allowed 2 earned runs in those spots. And yes, you are going up against the Dodgers here, but they've also had their struggles over the course of the weekend. We saw against the Red Sox and prior to there. So I think the Cubs are definitely a side in this one here between these two teams. Last game I'll get to here, Uncle Dave. Let's go to the West Coast. San Diego Padres and the D-backs. Michael King on the mound here for the Padres. Will be Brendan Pfaadt for the D-backs. D-backs are a -118 home favorite. -102 on the money line for the Padres. Tone this one is sitting at 9.
Does that look right to you that Michael King is an underdog? I mean, I kind of, I've kind of liked him uh, most of the season, and he's made me money. He comes in with a whip of 1.17, and again, are we basing what he did off of his last performance? I mean, he was beaten up by Colorado, my Rockies, closing fast on their season win total, but. Um, I guess the total opened at 8. It's up to 9 in a lot of places, and I'm not so sure that isn't the right thing to do. I mean, you have basically three-quarters of the money and two-thirds of the tickets on the under, so the sharp play there is probably the over, and I wonder who's going to give it up, right? I mean, in his three previous starts, King only gave up 1 run. So 1 run in each game. So don't misunderstand me. But Pfaft has only given up 6 runs in the month of July, and never more than two. So so what do you do? The fact is that one of those starts was against the Padres. Through 5 innings, gave up none. So I'm thinking, well, then he's going to have his they're going to make their adjustments, and I guess the reason for that might be that King started against Arizona that probably the same game about 4 weeks ago, and he only gave up 1 run in 6 innings. So I don't get that total. I really don't. Um, I mean, if you're looking at the market, then yeah, the over is the play. But at 9, probably not. Nine's a push instead of 8.5. I just wonder where the runs are going to come from. So as I'm thinking this through, um, boy, that's a tough one. I mean, I could almost flip a coin, but I guess I would have to side with Arizona, just because Pfaft is favored over King. There's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, but to get the home team here at a pretty cheap price, I would have to go in that direction. Arizona does have a very good bullpen. The Padres do as well, but I'll take the home team at a cheap price.
Yeah, Michael King has been really good against the D-backs in his career. He did face them. He's already faced them twice this season, back on April 26th and on July 8th. Both those games combined, 12 innings, 7 hits. He only allowed 3 earned runs, 12 strikeouts in that game. And the bullpen really came in after Michael King and gave it up because they gave up 10 runs in the seventh and eighth inning combined back on the April start, but they did win the most recent start in July, which was in San Diego. It was a 10-4 victory for the Padres side of things there. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get closer maybe to game time that this total ends up back to an 8.5. If anything, I would be on the Padres side of things here, minus 102 on the money line for this one between these two NL West teams. The couple other games that I didn't get to, Uncle Dave, will be Giants and Rangers. I don't see a starter yet quite for the Rangers. Logan Webb is on the mound for the Giants. We have Blue Jays and the Astros tonight. Shane Bieber and Christian Javier. And then in Coors Field, we got the Rays and the Rockies, Ian Seymour and Michael Lorenzen on the mound there for the Rockies. Do you have anything for those games before we do get to our NFL team for today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't have an opinion on the Rangers. I don't know who's starting. Somebody probably does because there's lines up everywhere. And for what it's worth, the line has shifted from the Giants opening as slight favorites to Texas being favored by a fair bit. Let me just look and see
I
what
see
happened
Cal
there. Yeah,
Quantrill.
yeah. Um, Texas is definitely the sharp side there. That's all I can tell you. Um, Colorado and Tampa Bay. Now, I would love for my Rockies to steal one here, but Lorenzen has really just been bad. I mean, if you look at his numbers, right, his WHIP is 1.81. I mean, that's not good. And you would think he would be better at on the road, and obviously he is. But even on the road, his ERA is 5.1, 8.34 at home, 45 innings, 8 home runs, 70 hits. Do the Rays have an electric offense? No, they do not. Um, but the total is sitting there at 11 and a half, just under. I was looking at the Tampa Bay team total at 6.5, and I'm like, but that might not be enough.
Yeah.
I might be tempted to take the team total there for the. I just fade Lorenzen, I guess. I'm gonna see what the weather's like in Colorado. Um, the wind is blowing. Well, it's blowing out to start. And then it's shifting a little bit, but it is kind of warm. So you know what? First five over. That's it.
Yeah, Michael Lorenzen's home starts this season, 10 of them, 8-2 on the over there. They're actually profitable in his home starts this season, 6-4 straight up, 6-4 on the run line. Michael Lorenzen starts at Coors Field. They've won back to back, or sorry, they've won 4 of the last 5 games at home with Michael Lorenzen on the mound. They've seen at least 14 runs in 4 of those 5 games there, Uncle Dave. So maybe we do see runs here tonight between the Rays and the Rockies. All right, that'll do it here for the MLB side of things. Of course, we'll give our best bet at towards the end of the podcast. Let's shift our focus over to the NFL side of things. We'll talk about the Houston Texans, who come into this season with a win total of 9.5 at minus 125. Last season, of course, they did get a wild card spot in the AFC. They finished the season in typical fashion, going, should know this off the top of my head, but they did end up going 12-5. They did finish the season winning 9 straight games in the regular season. Of course, their season was ended at the hands of the New England Patriots in the divisional round there. Uncle Dave, in a game which was one to be forgotten about from CJ Stroud, may have been the worst quarterback performance in the playoffs, at least by that position here. They were 10-2 in the conference, 5-1 in the division, were a very good home team. 7-2, Uncle Dave. But what are your thoughts on this Houston Texans team before I give my 3-hour breakdown?
Yeah, really, we have to do that. We did say we do a 3 hour Munaf and Dave Dream Pod, right? Yeah, which I texted you. I'll just take the day off. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they have an elite defense, right? Anderson and Hunter are just probably two of the best in the league, and you got Stingley back there. They had a Reed Blankenship, who I really like, smart player. Jadeveon Clowney. I have a bitter taste in my mouth for him, and I have since he played at South Carolina. Um, and I only because my daughter went there, right? So I was pretty close to the program at that time. And he took plays off, right? Same things he's done in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a beast when he wants to play, but he doesn't always want to play. I mean, he was kind of one of the first guys way back when to skip the bowl game. Uh, now it's commonplace, but I just kind of didn't think that was ideal. So, secretly, I'm rooting for Jadeveon Clowney to go on the IL so I can root for your Texans. Nico Collins, he's one of the best. Tank Dell coming back from injury. Is he, how back from injury is he going to be? I'm sure you'll tell me that. I think David Montgomery will make the running game a little more physical, but it always comes down to the offense, right? I mean, is Stroud going to be consistent? I mean, he didn't maintain his first year sensational stats as he did last year, but he was also under heavy pressure last year, right? I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're under heavy pressure, unless you're Tom Brady, you're gonna have a problem. Um, on paper, the offensive line looks good, but they expected the offensive line to look better last year. So, I mean, I think that's the real question. Um, I look at the schedule, right, and I'm like, I was scrolling down it last night, and I'm thinking, wow, they got a pretty easy schedule, and then I saw the second half, right? I mean, the first half, they got five of their first seven games at home before the bye week. I mean, that's huge, and they could beat Buffalo in the opener. Cincinnati, they can beat at the Colts. Dallas at home, they can beat. Tennessee on the road, they should win. Jacksonville across the pond, bit of an issue. It's the Jaguars, and the Giants at home. Now, some of those teams are going to be better this year. The Giants will be better, and Cincinnati should be better. But they have a legit shot at 5-2, 6-1 out of the gate. And then what happens? At the Rams, at Cleveland, which we don't know what's going to happen. Baltimore, at Pittsburgh, at Washington, but probably winnable. But they close with two of their three games at the Eagles and at Green Bay. And I think what worries me about that is there's not a dome in Philadelphia and there's not a dome in Green Bay. And that would be Christmas Eve and January 4th. So weather could be a problem. So if I could get a first half over bet, I would like that. But books haven't been that kind to me. So, the division, Jacksonville, I'm not high on them as everybody else is. The Colts, big question mark with their quarterback and whether he can come back. Tennessee could be better, but they're still going to suck. I think they sneak over here in spite of themselves because the offense simply has to be better, right? I mean, how dominant that defense is. The offense doesn't have to be elite; it just has to be good and not turn the ball over. So I think they probably go over, and I hope you're not. I hope you're not looking the other way on me.
Yeah, it's exactly what you mentioned, right? What are you going to get out of the offense? Like that's the conversation that's going on, locally, and when you talk about reports from training camp and things like that, right? We know the defense is going to be the defense. You mentioned Reed Blankenship that they picked up. I love that pickup. Obviously, Will Anderson Jr. Senior got Junior. I'm sorry, did get his money in the off season, and Daniel Hunter as well for this Texan team. And you mentioned Jadeveon Clowney, who in fact did have 8.5 sacks last year when he was with the Dallas Cowboys as well, right? So it's not like you're relying on him to be your best defensive guy. It's just more of a depth piece there. But the conversation's all about the offensive line. Are they going to be able to hold up and give CJ Stroud the protection that he needs? And how does CJ Stroud look coming off of his last game in the playoffs where he had, I mean, every other throw, it felt like he was going to throw an interception, which felt like, he did. The concern for me is, right, what you mentioned in the second half of the schedule about all the road trips that they do have, right, to Pittsburgh, right, to Washington. Okay, maybe not of a big deal there, but again, you have to go to Philly in the cold, to Green Bay in week 17 in the cold, which is also a prime time game. That week 16 and week 17, Uncle Dave, it's a Thursday night football game. You get a mini bye week coming out of that against Philadelphia, and then you go all the way to Monday night. So I think that could be beneficial for this team, especially at the tail end of the season, especially when their bye week is going to be in week 8. So, of course, you're hearing all these great things out of training camp of how good the offensive line looks and how great Nico looks as well. And I do like the pickup of David Montgomery. Gives him a little bit more balance, not having to worry about Woody Marks having to be that guy on every single down. I mean, we still trying to figure out what happened with Joe Mixon in that freak foot injury that's kept him out the entirety of the year last year. But Now you have David Montgomery. Now you have Woody Marks in the backfield, and hopefully, if the offensive line, I think the only direction for that offensive line is to go up, and if they can create, some open some lanes for David Montgomery and Woody Marks, and just take a little bit of pressure off of CJ Stroud, I think this team will be fine. I think this is another. I say this every single year. It's before they went to 17 games on the year, Uncle Dave. It was 9-8 division title out in the wild card round. But I think the expectations now have gone up, especially how well and how good this defense can be for the Houston Texans. And a lot of it just falls on the offensive side of things. So at least for the regular season, I do think that they do get to 10 wins. There's 10 wins. I mean, you look at the division, you mentioned Jacksonville, we're not high on. I think the Colts are going to be the Colts with Daniel Jones coming off of the injury that he did have. And the Titans are, we're still looking for them to improve year over year, especially with the brand new coaching staff as well. And they've done pretty well in the division under D'Amico Ryan. So before I do really turn this into a 3 hour pod, I'll go over 9.5 for the Texans. It's just now the fan base expectations is what can you do in the playoffs, right? Because it just hasn't been a lot of success for this team. Either you're winning the wild card game and going to the divisional round and getting either beat by the Chiefs when Mahomes was there as a starting quarterback. But that's just where they need to take that next step up is winning that division game and getting to the conference championship. So that's where we're kind of at with the Texans here. I like the over 9.5. I do think this is a 10-win team. Any closing thoughts, Uncle Dave, on the Texans?
No, I mean I think we covered it pretty well. I don't have anything to add to that.
All right, so there it is. Texans 9.5, and I'll mention our next team for our win total for our pod tomorrow at the end here. But before we do get to best bets on this episode to kick off the month of August, just want to remind everybody, get over there to pregame.com. Do us a huge favor, use that promo code RBI50 because you can save $50 off of the second half access through the World Series for the MLB. Right now, priced at $349. But use that promo code RBI50, get it down to $299. Again, that's going to be every single pick in the MLB through the World Series, right? We're entering the month of August. I know the season ends there in September. We'll get to the playoffs, and it'll take you all the way through the World Series. It's been up and down month, at least for myself, for the month of July. But hopefully I can turn that around in baseball in the month of August. After we do get past the trade deadline, which is in fact here on Monday. So eyes and ears will be glued to that. But again, if you want to support us, support the podcast, do us a favor, get over there, pregame.com. Use that promo code RBI50. Save yourself $50 off of that second half access for the MLB all the way through the World Series. All right, but Dave, let's start our month off strong here for the best bet side of things for our podcast here. I'll let you lead it off. Where are you taking us for your best bet?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the Washington Nationals. And they just I think Alvarez is starting now, so the line's coming down a little bit. I want to take them on the run line, but I'm going to go back to their team total over. You can get a 3.5 at -160, and I know it's a little juice, but I would do that. I mean the Phillies bullpen is just not there, and I think some of that line initially was the loss of Garcia, and I get it, but it's Nola, and they do have other bats in that lineup, and I think getting 9 at bats is probably going to be helpful here. I mean, you look at the Philadelphia weather. I mean, it's kind of conducive for not a lot of wind, but fairly mild. I think the weather will be somewhat helpful. So I will take the Washington Nationals team total over 3.5 runs.
Love it. Again, I've been a huge fan of the Nationals this season. Of course, they've just been a machine that's been able to score runs all throughout the season there. So again, fading Aaron Nola definitely would be the look for me as well. You took the words right out of my mouth when I mentioned the last couple games there. I'm going Rockies and Rays first 5 innings over 6 right now. It's a number currently over I see on Bet Online. Mentioned the numbers for Michael Lorenzen, especially at home this year. Hopefully they don't trade Hunter Goodman or Jake McCarthy. They've been in rumors for the Rockies there, of course, on the trade front there. But I do believe we get runs, of course, from the Tampa Bay Rays side of things. And the Rockies have actually been pretty good in the first game of a series, whether it's been at home or even on the road this year. So I'll look for some fireworks early in this one, Uncle Dave. Rays and Rockies first 5 innings over six as my best bet for the Monday card in the MLB. I'll quickly mention this, Uncle Dave. Like any other games that are on the MLB card that I am going to be betting, it's probably going to be closer to very, very close to game time because, again, with the trade deadline, guys are going to get scratched. We saw that over the weekend with a lot of these pitchers that were on the move and have been on the move there. So I usually wait either till lineups are announced or as close as we get to game time, placing some of these bets there. If sometimes even when it comes to NBA trade deadline, sometimes I honestly take the day off. But again, I will be playing that first 5 innings over, of course, as I gave out here on the card. I don't know if you have a different opinion, Uncle Dave, on the trade deadline for the MLB and how you handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bet them now like I always do, because I can always get off of it, right? I
Yep.
mean, you mentioned the Rockies if they trade Goodman, um, that would suck for that total, but you can always buy off of it, and I'm not ashamed to do that. Should it be that way? So, because I think we have so much going on with football coming up, and we're busy, right? That if I get out of my rhythm and my routine, I'll probably get worse. I mean, then I have all this other minutia in my head. What if? What if? There's enough what ifs as it is.
Yeah.
So, I tend to just stay the course and deal with it. I just buy off of it, and maybe if I eat a little juice, I eat a little juice. But that would be that's how I approach it anyway. And plenty of people do it your way.
Yep.
Plenty of people wait until first pitch, and certainly absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just for me, that doesn't work that way because then I get under pressure and the line gets away from me, and then I get pissed that I didn't do it earlier. So it's up to the individual, and my tendency is to not wait too long and think what if. I mean, sometimes those things work out in your favor, so it's not always doom and gloom if your team. They can it can work both ways, just like anything can in this business. So yeah, I just do it now and deal with it.
Yeah, like you mentioned, everybody has their ways of handicapping games. I mean, I don't think there's a right way, there's a wrong way either. It's just how you approach it as well. Um, 10 teams officially left on our list here, Uncle Dave, for our NFL win totals. Before we do get into the double digit win totals, our last team in the single digits will be the Green Bay Packers for tomorrow, who sit at 9.5 win total for the upcoming season in the NFC North. So we'll talk about the Packers tomorrow on the podcast. Of course, we'll get into more baseball as well. More importantly, hopefully, we did dish out some more winners, and we're talking about a winning podcast as far as our best bets do go, starting in the month of August here. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Till then, enjoy the games. Good luck with your tickets, and we'll talk to you guys down the road.